Hey, get away from my beer fridge. I have talked about my fridge and my fridge problems before, and I just want to say that I got a new fridge. Where is it? Where's my new fridge? Oh my God. If you're a musician, you've probably seen one of these floating around the internet, a fridge that looks like a Marshall guitar amp. But can it work as an off-grid fridge up here at the off-grid cabin? Hi, I'm Clever Joe. Welcome back to the off-grid cabin. I recently retired my three-way propane fridge. It was great for a while I used it, but it wasn't energy efficient using it with electricity. This thing draws 150 watts minimum an hour. And with solar, every watt counts. This is the Marshall 4.4 fridge. They do make a model that is a 3.1, the normal size of bar fridges, but it doesn't come with the built-in freezer, and that was important to me. I'm going to tell you why a little bit later on in the video. Let's start with the storage. 4.4 cubic feet, which is more than most bar fridges, by the way. Most cap out around 3.1. But the real kicker, this little thing only draws 0.6 amps. That's lower than most mini fridges, and part of the reason for that is that it was originally designed for the European market. When I was doing my research on off-grid fridges, I probably researched fridges for years. I was always looking at them because they're such a big and important part of your system, and there's so much information and misinformation out there. This thing, I sort of accidentally stumbled on it with the power consumption, and once I realized, holy crap, this is more efficient for a larger bar fridge. This is more efficient than most bar fridges its size. I was hooked right away. I mean, I fell in love with it just by looking at it, and then the power consumption was just a bonus right on top. I actually reached out to Marshall to see if they'd be interested in doing a sponsorship or a collaboration video. I mean, musician, off-grid cabin, music studio in the woods, come on. They weren't. We had some discussion back and forth, and thank you, Allison, for all your help. And here is the unofficial Marshall fridge review that Marshall never asked for. I've been using this with the Allpower's R2500, which is a 2000 watt power station, and I've also been testing it out with the EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. I can get about 2.5 days of running this fridge, probably squeeze it to 3. I've had this on the coldest temperature just because I like my beer cold and I like my chicken frozen. So I think you could probably get maybe 3 to 4 days if you're using it a little bit more energy efficient than I am. Now, that's without using solar or powering it up with a generator or recharging your power stations at all. So that's just straight up using it with a 2000 watt power station. Extremely efficient little fridge. Okay, let's have a look inside this bad boy here. Has a very cool Arctic blue light in there, which I may well switch to a brighter LED white light because it's a little hard to see your food. Pretty cool if you're reaching for beer and you know that's all that's in the fridge, but when you've got when you're using it for an off-grid cabin, for an actual kitchen fridge, you know, it'd be helpful if it was a little bit brighter. As I mentioned earlier, having a freezer was important to me. The reason is because I use this little hack where basically you freeze your freezer packs up here, and then you can turn the fridge off for the night, move your freezer packs down into the fridge area, and you've saved yourself some wattage. If you're trying to get every penny out of every watt, that's a little hack you can do. Look at that beautiful Marshall logo with a few fingerprints on it now. Okay, let's talk capacity. When I first got the fridge, I was thinking, geez, this doesn't look much bigger than my old fridge. But here's the thing, it's a lot deeper. And I found that I've been up here for a couple weeks now on holidays, and it has more room than my old fridge, which is just great. Now, over here, let's look at the inside doors. I hate them. They just suck. Come on, Marshall. You could have done something better than these little flimsy things. If you try and put a tall boy or, heaven forbid, some actual beers or a bottle of wine, you're going to lose it. Because as soon as you close that door, it's even doing it that lightly, all of those bottles fall out. So that hinge is just useless. This up here is okay. I'm lucky because I am a Dr. Pepper drinker, right? And these little mini cans fit in there if you give them a... To get a can of beer, good luck. I've seen people do it, but, you know, good luck. Again, just ultra useless. I really, really hate those. But come on, it's a guitar amp, right? Down in the bottom here, I kind of miss having my crisper in the old one. It was a sealed crisper, but I believe that my crisper from the old fridge will fit in here. So that I might just do that. That said, I don't actually eat a lot of veggies. I kind of just pick them fresh from the garden when I'm up here in the summertime. So I'm just happy to stuff it full of beers and Gatorades for now. All of the hardware is legit. The knobs, the power buttons, the input jacks. This is Marshall gear. No, the power light doesn't go on. That's a shame. Marshall should really put a little light in there because that would just be cool to, you know, actually have that as your power button and light it up. It's an awesome little fridge. Now, this is the bigger model, so I suspect that the 3.1 will probably be very close to the dimensions of an actual Marshall amp. This is clearly, when you walk to the side of it, you know, it's a lot deeper than any amp would be. I love this thing. It makes me inspired. I just want to crank it up, take out a beer, start playing music on it. If you're a musician or living off grid, or you just love music, or if you just want to be like the coolest kid in the forest, this is your puppy. So, is this the most practical off-grid fridge out there? Well, maybe not for families or for full-time off-gridders, but for a solo cabin setup like mine, it's power efficient, which is very important to me, so I can run it longer with a couple of power stations that I use. It's uber cool, and it makes me happy every time I look at it. I often come to my off-grid cabin to create music, and having the right space to do that in is important to me. Let's just say the man cave has got man cavier. If you're into off-grid content and reviews and wonderful and occasionally strange technology, I'm Clever Joe. I'd be happy if you subscribe or give me a like, hit the like button. I'm really happy to hear your comments too. Let me know if you have one of these things, how it's working for you, or if you have your own off-grid fridge that is super efficient, that's cooler than this, impossible. Let me know. I'd love to hear about it in the comment section. Happy off-gridding, guys. See you next time.